the Instagram stories for Tuesday, December 10th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Today on the show, the editorial lead of the Instagram @creators account, Michaela O'Shaughnessy, stops by to tell us what you should absolutely not do on Instagram. And the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, will answer questions like, why do my carousels get less reach than my reels? And do caption edits after posting negatively affect reach? All that and more. First, a word from our sponsor. Welcome back. Recently, the Instagram for Business account had a clip from the editorial lead of the Instagram creators account, Michaela O'Shaughnessy, talking about what things you should absolutely not do on Instagram. Here's the clip.
What are some of the things that you shouldn't do on Instagram?
One thing for certain is you never want to post a reel that has a watermark from another app on it. You also want to make sure your reels are under 90 seconds, because if they're under 90 seconds, they're eligible for discovery surfaces like our Explore page. And unfortunately, if they're over 90 seconds, they won't be showing up in Explore, so people won't necessarily find that piece of content. You also want to make sure that they're not too low res. It doesn't mean they need to be filmed with a DSLR or anything like that, but you just want to make sure they're not blurry or grainy, because that's not a great user experience for our users of Instagram, so we never necessarily serve that to them. And I think those are the three main ones that I would avoid if I was a business or a creator, just wanting to make sure that my content was discoverable.
I'm glad she said that about reels not being longer than 90 seconds. I continue to think that the sweet spot for somebody who comes across your content from the Explore page is around 10 to 15 seconds if they've never seen any of your content before. Then once they know you and they decide to follow you, then you can do the 30 to 60 second length reels. Okay, let's dive into the questions that the head of Instagram answered on his Ask Me Anything this week. He's in an airport, so the audio quality is terrible, but unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that. Let's start with the first question. Why do my carousels get less reach than my reels? This is a very good question. Here's his answer.
In general, people interact with reels more. They send more to friends. They like them more than they do carousels or photos. So in general, reels get more reach because they get picked up in ranking, but that is not true for everybody. I've met plenty of creators who do much better with carousels than they do with reels. It's just, for whatever reason, your followers, your content seems to do better with reels. That doesn't mean you shouldn't try carousels. I would just try new types of carousels.
Okay, let's go on to the next question. Do caption edits after posting negatively affect reach? What that means is after you've created a post and then you want to change something in the caption, does that prevent the Explore algorithm from picking it up and showing it to more people? The answer to that, of course, is no.
They do not. So if you want to change a caption after you post, maybe you made a mistake, feel free to. It's not going to affect your reach.
The next question has to do with notes on Instagram posts. This is a feature that Instagram recently added, and it has some interesting parameters. Notes are temporary and disappear after 3 days. When you add a note, you choose which audience you want to see that note, either close friends or followers that you follow back. The question, how often should I post notes on posts?
Notes are just for your close friends or for people who you follow and who follow you back. So they're really just about connecting with people you know. So it's not really a way to drive reach. So I suggest you just do it whenever you're inspired to do so, and don't think about it as a tool for creators. Just think about it as a tool for people to connect with friends.
Okay, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the number one thing you should do to help your reach on Instagram, what the plan is for adding scheduling to Threads posts, and Adam Mosseri's plan not only for broadcast channels, but broadcast channel replies. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Continuing with the questions and answers, the next question, what's the number one thing I should do to help my reach? The answer to that is make content that is very funny or very educational and also very short. Here's Adam's answer.
You have to try things at the overlap of ideas that are aligned with your goals for why you use Instagram and what you think might resonate with an audience or your audience. And that's the overlap you need to find, and what works this year might not work next year. I find that all the time. So you got to keep experimenting in things that could be both interesting to people and align with what you want to get out of using the platform.
Okay, now let's dive into the questions about broadcast channels. Adam Mosseri recently changed the topic of his broadcast channel from being all about things that Instagram was testing to strategy to help people use Instagram better and get the most out of the platform. The question, why are you switching your broadcast channel strategy?
I had the broadcast channel where I mostly just talked about small tests we were running, and it just felt a little bit uninspired or uninteresting. So people got, sorry, I don't know what that is. People were giving decent responses, but it wasn't that exciting. So I'm trying something new. I'm not trying to post more advice. I'm hoping that's both something people are interested in, but also align with what I want to get out of Instagram, which is to help explain to creators how best to use it and what we're doing and why.
Again, sorry for the bad audio on that one. Since we're talking about broadcast channels, Instagram recently added the ability to turn on broadcast channel replies, which is where someone can reply to a post inside a broadcast channel, but only you can see that. The question, are you reading your broadcast channel replies?
Doing this one from the road. I do, and it's actually interesting. They are more friendly than comments, which is an interesting surprise I'm trying to figure out.
That's an interesting insight. I suspect that because he is a well-known person, people want to put him on blast publicly. But if you were afraid to turn on broadcast channel replies because you thought you might get a lot of hate and negativity in your DMs, maybe try turning it on and it won't be as bad as you think. And the last question we're going to talk about today has to do with Threads scheduling. What about Threads scheduling posts? This honestly seems like something the team should have implemented already.
For those of you who use Threads as well, we don't actually support scheduled posts yet, but we are working on it, so keep a lookout.
This seems like a good time to mention that if you do want to schedule a post on Threads, you could do that with a third-party tool like Buffer. Okay, that is going to do it for the questions and answers from the head of Instagram. Just a reminder that if you do not like hearing ads on this show, good news, you have an option. You can subscribe through Patreon for $3 a month and experience the show completely ad-free. You can get to the link for the Patreon directly in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening, and be sure to come back next time for more social media news, strategy, and other things that you absolutely need to know.
Let me tell you a couple things that you should know about me. A product manager, but do not have a bachelor's degree. But actually, that's factually a fraction of me. Another fraction's posting content irregular and irrationally. Still probably won't get a job at the Gram. They forgot, they don't know, or don't care who I am. That's why you never see me at the parties and events. My lack of followers must make me irrelevant. Don't have a course, a book to sell to make a bag of grand. Not a social media marketer, don't represent any brands. Plain to see, don't have an agency, but I got a lot of spam. Just putting in my work without the glitz and glam. Won't catch me eating fish unless it's shrimp or clam. No six pack, no risk that there's a gym card in my hand. Don't have a full-time job, but I got a lot of plans. Stay plotting, dropping knowledge on TikTok and Instagram.